Celebrity culture accelerates in the 20th century. Tabloids sell millions at supermarket checkouts. Images outpace verification. Some are staged, some are composites. In 1990, Adobe releases Photoshop. Image manipulation no longer requires dark rooms. What took professionals weeks can now take amateurs hours. Costs collapse as well. By the 2000s, digital cameras eliminate physical negatives altogether, and the internet pioneers global circulation in a matter of seconds. High-profile cases follow. Scarlett Johansson repeatedly sues over fabricated nude images. Emma Watson faces sexualized composites almost immediately after she turns 18. Detection tools do emerge, but as always, they'll trail behind creation. Revenge porn and image-based sexual abuse becomes legally recognized and criminalized in the 2010s, covering both authentic and fake images. But it's December 2017 that marks a real watershed. A Reddit user, calling himself Deepfakes, releases open-source face-swapping code. Almost immediately, it's adapted for pornography, and within months, it scales. By 2024, you can easily create deepfake nudes on consumer apps. It takes minutes and not days. According to a recent Security Hero report, deepfake pornography makes up 98% of all deepfake videos online, and 99% of those targeted in deepfake pornography are women. An American Sunlight Project study found that women in Congress are around 70 times more likely to be targeted by such content than men, which isn't that surprising when we look at the patterns in the long history. Neuroscience shows that the nervous system responds to a sexual or reputational threat as a real one, even if the image is crude, implausible, or known to be fake. The circulation of nude deepfakes is now common knowledge with everyone that's got the internet. So you might think that this ubiquity would neutralize the harm, like, oh, well, it's just a deepfake. But it turns out it doesn't really. So I talked about this with computer scientist and media forensics expert Walter J. Scheirer, who's a professor at the University of Notre Dame. Now that en masse people are aware who have internet access that deepfakes are created all the time and explicit deepfakes are becoming ubiquitous, does that mitigate their impact? Does the fact that people know that these things can be fake and that they're likely to be fake, is that a very helpful element, or does it really not change the social impact of these technologies?
Yeah, this is a great question because I feel like there are a lot of misunderstandings about the deployment of fake media on the internet, right? We've all heard the outcries over misinformation, disinformation, right? It's like the idea that you're going to create this hyper-realistic video that's going to somehow fool the public. When we see deepfakes, usually it's the opposite, right? They're quite crude. While the technology's gotten better, it's still not perfect. And it's almost like those crude ones resonate more than the very professional-looking, hyper-realistic versions. And of course, right, it has to do with what they're being used for, right? Again, if it's meant to humiliate somebody, it doesn't really matter if it looks plausible, right? That's not the point. The mere fact that it's doing something to humiliate somebody is what sort of resonates, right, when it hits the internet. Same thing in political context, right? A lot of this content is produced for parody or satire purposes. And again, if it's humorous, that works even better on the internet. So I think, again, it's like, what's the context? How novel is the production? How novel is the piece of content, right? That's what really sort of, I think, has an impact. Again, a lot of the very realistic deepfakes just haven't really resonated. It's just, again, there's something, right, that's not tickling the interest of the public. And so, again, I think that's a really interesting dynamic. And again, you see this historically as well. If you go back to photo manipulation in the 19th century, it's like the sort of odd-looking things that find an audience, not necessarily the very realistic-looking things.
Like spirit photography, when you have fleeting Abe Lincoln behind your shoulder.
Spirit photography, this double exposure photography. Yeah, it looks so strange, and again, it becomes so popular because of that, right? There's this otherworldly effect to it.
You obviously spend a lot of time working on this and thinking about this, and there are myriad answers, I'm sure. What do you identify as the main motivations as to why people create explicit deepfake imagery today? Because you've talked about, satire, making people laugh, making an impression, memorability. showing that you've got the skills to do it. What do you think are the most important factors?
Yeah, I think there's probably, I'd say like two dominant communities doing this. One would be the sort of like trolls, like the misogynists, right, who are out there targeting women. Again, some of this is like highly localized, again, like bullying in schools. In other cases, there are internet trolls targeting higher profile figures like celebrities. We see this a lot in politics now. It sort of fits the sort of mode of really aggressive partisan politics in many cases. The second community doing this, I think, is just people interested in pornography, right? The internet is just like awash with pornography. This becomes like another sort of like subculture within pornography. In fact, if you look at the history of the deepfake algorithm itself, the algorithm that comes out in 2017, it's created specifically for pornography, right? As part of a subreddit community that's interested in trying to undress celebrities, right? And so again, you see these very large, surprisingly very large communities. I guess unsurprisingly, maybe from a cultural vantage point in 2026, that are simply interested in doing this. And again, I think there's a misogynistic element to that as well, right? This idea that there's no real nudes of this actress, right? Like let's virtualize it, right? Like let's undress her ourselves. The general pollution of the internet with this type of thing too, right? I mean, there are more positive sort of visions of what the internet could be. Having an internet awash in fake pornographic content that is humiliating people seems bad, right? I just don't understand why there is so much enthusiasm for generating this content, right? Because again, it's a lot of people producing it, which is an issue. I think coming back again to children. I think if you're sort of growing up in this internet culture, you think it's okay, right? You're not internalizing better cultural norms. And again, I think that's a huge social problem facing, again, the globe, right? I mean, this is a global phenomenon.
Deepfake nudes are not an aberration. They're clearly an escalation of long-standing human practices, a fusion of visual trickery, technological edge, and misogyny. What's new is not the impulse, it's the speed, the scale, and how realistic they look. And while I've centered this episode on Western Judeo-Christian societies, this is not a Western anomaly. Across many moral and religious systems, sexual exposure functions as a credibility-destroying weapon, even if it's false. And a nude fake rarely needs to be believed to work. Its power is contamination, forcing an audience to rehearse someone as a sexual object. Audiences probably knew that pamphlets were propaganda, and in the 20th century that photographs could be faked. But the logic endures. Where there's smoke, there's fire. The idea that it isn't real, so no harm is done, has been disproven historically and clinically. Deepfakes work today, not because audiences are naive, but because this was culturally rehearsed long before AI. Inherently, it's about power over someone or something. Sexualizing a public figure in particular is not just about sex, it's a status-lowering move. Because across centuries, the body has functioned as a proxy for legitimacy. If you don't have control over your body, why should you be trusted with anything else? Ashamed Eve, 18th century pamphlets, Victorian composites, Photoshop fabrications, now deepfakes. The medium evolves drastically. The target, not so much.